How's it going?
Talking, you're like, scoot that up as much as you can.
Hey, we're coming at you live from LPC 2467. K-Fly.
K-Live here with the news. Great. K-Live here with the news. On your forecast this morning, it's snowy. You know what they say, ladies and gentlemen? When it snows, snows goes. Everything's shut down today. Don't go anywhere. Stay inside. Listen to INDZ Radio. Well, what's up, everybody? We're back.
This is Earth Radio.
This is Earth Radio. Everybody on the planet's listening to this show right now in this minute. This may seem like a podcast to you, but in reality, this is live, baby. We're coming from Chicago, beaming straight into your brain, everybody at the same time, okay? We're all reaching our third eye nirvana at the same time over these airwaves, all right? Take a breath in. Everybody on the planet just did that with you. Crazy, huh? Damn. Good
Namaste.
shit. Namaste, y'all. Hello. Namaste right here. And listen to Independence Days. It's Brendon and it's John again.
How's it going, y'all?
It's great. It's great. We're out here. We're living in a winter wonderland right now. Mm-hmm. That's pretty nice.
First snow since Halloween.
Yeah, this one's for real, though. Cops are out there. Snow police is out there, okay? Don't get caught, y'all. Make sure you have your snow licenses on. Make sure you're shoveling your sidewalks, okay? Because if you're not, that's rude. And illegal, apparently. You have to. You're responsible for shoveling the sidewalk in front of your property.
Well, I mean, if you live in an apartment complex, then it's probably like the maintenance man.
Yeah, I don't.
Or maintenance woman.
Listen, I don't even have a car. I saw people scraping ice off their windshields this morning, and I was like, glad I'm not y'all.
Right. True.
So we're out here.
Yeah. It's cold. It's getting cold.
It's getting cold again.
I was ready for it to get cold, though.
Yeah, this is now just a weather podcast. Where we try to give you everybody does a group meditation, and we just like imagine what the weather is like. So you can be in Australia, you can be on Miami Beach living it up, and you can know what it's like to know the true, sincere peace that is the first real snow out here in Chicago. So we got a couple stories. So this is from CNN Business. Walgreens may get scooped up in the largest private equity deal in history, report says. Walgreens is reportedly wanting to go private, and KKR is an equity firm. They're said to be interested in buying it. The acquisition would be the biggest private equity takeover in history. Shares of Walgreens surged 6% on Monday, today, November 11th. And, this is shitty.
Well,
so it's one thing for a corporation to be publicly owned and traded. You've got a lot of shareholders making the decisions and electing a board. But the people who own most shares, like in most companies, are just like rich people. They own the most shares. They have the most voting power.
And they're probably buying up they're probably buying up more shares right now.
Yeah.
Because, if they get bought out, then they're probably going to get bought out for more than what the share's worth.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, they're making money. Well, they're probably losing money as it's going up. Well, I mean, because they're buying, say they buy it right now, mm-hmm. and, as more people are buying it, it's going up.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of those shares that you bought, a few days ago, or you're going to make money right off.
Yeah, people are getting in on it.
And then they're going to buy you out for all those shares.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people are going to make a lot of money in that.
Yeah. Walgreens is currently valued at more than $55 billion. Any deal would be probably done at a premium to that price and also include the assumption of the $16.8 billion in debt the retail and pharmacy giant has on the balance sheet. So even with the $16.8 billion debt, it's worth it to buy out this company. That's how much money they stand to make. I mean, this is crazy. This is like when CVS bought Aetna. You have a pharmacy buying a insurance company, and this is like Amazon buying Whole Foods, and all of these companies are just like, they've eaten up so much of the market in their own industry that they're starting to eat up other parts of the markets,
Mm-hmm. I mean, you even got the cartel getting into the avocado industry.
Exactly, right? You just like can't. It's never enough.
Right.
It's never enough.
Nope.
I mean, they stand to make more money by selling the company to 3 private equity firms than they do just like being one of the only pharmacy companies in the country. I mean, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
Aetna TV, Walgreens food, Walgreens brand food. I don't know.
Yeah, it's seems like the game Monopoly.
Yeah,
like the game's almost over.
Like the game is we're like running towards the end of the game right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too. I feel like a lot of people are feeling that.
Yeah, should have got Park Place,
Yeah, I know. We missed the fucking train. Well, what we gotta do? Let's pull together all of our money. Right.
Well, we gotta vote on polygamy.
We gotta vote. Right. Right.
This is a pro polygamy podcast.
This is a pro polygamy podcast, but it's a political ends where everyone in the country is marrying each other.
Politically motivated.
Politically motivated polygamy. Yeah. Politically motivated polygamy. Politically motivated polygamy. That's the vows. Those are the vows, right? And we're gonna do a mass wedding. Everyone breathed at the beginning of the podcast together. It's just prepping. It's just prepping everybody to lead up to the mass wedding. I don't know. I think we could get it done in like a year.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Then, once we're all married and truly one big family.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have the buying power to compete with some of these,
right?
Some of the bigger elite.
Yeah,
and
we'll have hella solidarity.
We'll have more power in the political, campaigns and stuff. We could do super PACs for whoever we want.
Yeah, sure.
If we wanted to do that,
let's buy out all the existing super PACs and then just like ride them into the ground, or just like buy all the elections, and just run like cooks and servers and bartenders and like mechanics and shit like that for office, and like doctors.
Yeah, let's think outside the box.
Yeah,
make a new community.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
We'll have like a hospital school, so that you can be at school even when you're sick.
I've read a little bit about some people wanting to like have childcare and elderly care in the same place, like as an enriching experience for both groups of people, but also to just build more community and like have people be less isolated and separated from other generations,
So what is that like, where like the wings of the hospital where like there's the pediatrics and like the old people doctors?
I mean,
like,
not necessarily. Not necessarily a hospital, but perhaps a hospital. But I mean, just like a senior living home and
Place where you can go to have
like a
to give
daycare
birth
or like a daycare, yeah.
Oh,
being
for
like
sure.
the same place, and like having separate places, but also the option or like time to
The only
be
problem with
together.
that, the only problem with that is that like older people, when they get senile, sometimes they'll get like sexual, and it's not like it has nothing. It's not really
Interesting.
anything with their with like a desire of theirs. It's just them. They're going insane.
I'm
Like,
sure we could figure something out.
So I'm just saying, like,
assisted living workers know their patients pretty well. I think.
yeah,
I think they would be able to make the
But
right
then
calls.
you also got to trust the assisted living workers, where sometimes they're beating the fuck out of these old people.
That's
and
true.
Shit, stealing, like, so it's
true.
It's
yeah,
so weird
but like
because
that's just like a lack of resources and good training and
But the thing is,
like,
getting these parents to trust, like, leaving their kids around a bunch of old people, because like, how are you gonna watch all these people? These are a bunch of strangers. Like that.
That's what daycare is, and that's what I mean.
True. Yeah, but maybe
if you do it in like semesters or something, I don't know. Like
maybe if you make that program in like every elderly home, eventually when your parents go to an elderly home, if they do,
yeah,
like then
hopefully not.
Then well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
if you do, or if they do, and then you have kids, and you'd be more inclined to send your kids to the daycare where their grandparents are. And
yeah,
then they can keep an eye on them.
Yeah,
and it's like
a strong community.
It's that community thing you're talking about. Yeah, and like if more and more people did that, then maybe the senior living homes wouldn't be so bad, because everybody has their grandkids running around and everything.
Yeah.
But then at the same time,
like a communal buy-in,
Yeah, at the same time, you have to have. There's people that don't have grandkids and don't like little kids.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they shouldn't have to be forced to hang out with kids if they don't want to.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
I'm sure a lot of old folks would like that.
Yeah, true.
But
then what about when you got like a little Ted Bundy running around there or something, or like,
I just want to be. Well, this is like after we like guarantee healthcare and like training to everyone. This is like after. So like, hopefully we can catch some of those Ted Bundy kids in a social safety net. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Before they, start doing crazy shit, right?
Before they cross that threshold where there's no turning back.
Right.
They've linked, sex and violence.
Yeah.
Together.
I feel like there is a point. Well, maybe this is just from looking at the all these serial murders from a very narrative-driven standpoint. Like I feel like a lot of these people are turned into characters in a narrative, which is kind of natural, I guess. But I feel like in a lot of these stories, there's always like a point, a point of no return, or just like along the way there were warning signs. There could have been some kind of treatment somewhere. There's a lot of abuse in a lot of these stories. I feel like a destitute society is going to create people like that.
Like head injuries.
Yeah,
and like there's stuff like for John Wayne Gacy, they say like his first kill, he was like he had sex with this like younger guy, and the next morning he walked into his kitchen and seen him holding a knife, and so he killed him. And then he seen that the guy had made breakfast for him or whatever. He was just cooking breakfast, and so he killed this guy unintentionally. Like he just thought he was like gonna attack him or something. And after that, he started killing. So like after he got the taste of killing,
damn.
Like, but he might have just wanted to kill him. And that was an excuse too. You never know, because like when you hear about the true crime, most of this information comes from the serial killer, who's not the most trustworthy person to begin with. So.
Sure.
So like maybe there really isn't any turning point, and they're just fucked from like genetically. Like they're just always going to want that, and at some point they're gonna like be like desiring it for too long to where they're just gonna do it.
That is a small percentage, though. That's a very small percentage of the population
that do that or that are like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Really?
I think it varies.
I feel like the overall, if we like, it's So I think generally poverty creates crime, right?
Yeah.
And just like a lack of a social safety net creates crime.
Lack of stability.
Yeah, lack of stability and just like
routine.
Yeah.
Going to school.
Right.
All that stuff. Like,
Right. A good paying job in your home, you know.
How the school system hasn't been that great for generations. I think. Like, I would think that probably has made that gap bigger. Where there's more violent people and more irrational, like
people living from a
scarcity
mindset.
Right.
Yeah, right. And
people
also
who will do a split decision. Like erratic decision,
or just like even just like selling drugs. Like
if
you sell ideally nobody wants in no one's ideal world do they want to sell drugs, but like if the schools,
I mean, maybe a world where it's legal, and then it's just then
you're an entrepreneur, and then that's fine, you know,
right.
or then you're a small business owner or whatever. That's
like,
fine.
All the kids that were potheads in my high school, that the teacher said like you're never gonna have a job. Like, you know, they're all bud tenders now, and they love their job.
That's great, yeah. But until that point, I mean, you know, what we're doing right now is just like we're starving communities of opportunity, you know, disproportionately, you know, people of color, and it's no one's ideal world do they want to, you know, fight over territory, like, and be violent and shit, but like
always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, just like always nobody wants to do that. So like, I mean, so if we had a just society and we were able to get rid of all the crime that was like directly or indirectly caused by poverty, I'm sure there would still be a small, you know, amount of just like insatiable predators, you know.
They just like that shit.
They just like that shit,
they like to steal, you know, kleptomaniacs, or they like the drama.
Sure.
But how much of that is upbringing, you know, like, and how much is genetics?
I don't know, man.
Because I'd say a lot of like, you know, psychologists say that, you know, kleptomania is can be like connected back to like some kind of traumatic event or something.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
you know,
addiction is tied to to childhood trauma too. You know,
parenting. You know, like I mean, if you have abusive parents, then you know you're more likely to be abusive to your children, or cycles and stuff.
Cycles cycles of abuse, and like you know, like there's 20 years of studies that shows that spanking's not good for your kids and it fucks your kids up, you know. And there's a really strong connection to that, you know. I hit my kids and I grew up fine, or I was hit growing up and I grew up fine. I'm like, you probably not. Like, you're probably not like 100% good, you know. Like, I was hit as a kid and I'm not good, you know. I'm not like 100% like good, you know.
But then, you know, could also be drawbacks from not being spanked. Like, there can be pros and cons, because, you know, maybe say like you don't spank a kid and they grow up to think like that they can get away with anything or whatever. But, you know, that's like a slippery slope. I mean,
but that's not the only way to teach people that. True. Or even young people, you know, like, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, but this is not just like a subjective parenting thing. There's plenty of psychological research that backs it up, you know, that if you're teaching behavior, positive reinforcement works the best, which is a reward. Negative reinforcement is far behind that, but it's still second best, which is taking something good away. Right. And then way below that is punishment. Corporal punishment, or just like sitting in a corner and just like, I don't know, like some things I mean, sitting in the corner is pretty harmless. I'm not
be
against
a
that,
betray
but
of
like,
trust or something.
yeah, but there's some things that just like purposefully punishing is like a revenge thing almost, you know.
Plus,
It's like,
when you spank a kid, if they do something that really pisses you off in the moment, like then you might hit them a little harder than you should or meant to.
Right.
And like, because you're emotional and everything. People don't make the best decisions when they're emotional. So, like, there's always that too. Most of the time when you're, scolding your child, you're probably kind of pissed off about.
Sure.
Like they probably got on your last nerve.
Yeah. And it's like more of a selfish expression than it is about teaching, having a teachable moment.
But still, I mean, I've been around some kids that are just so loud and obnoxious, like screaming and their mom would be like, quiet down, you can't yell. I mean, you can't stop yelling. And so like,
I mean,
what do you
can get mad at your kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've read some studies that like spanking is somewhat effective up to like 2 years of age. So is there like a window where you teach them the wrath of God, right? And then like you just kind of bring that up every time you really need to. But that still seems kind of fucked up to me. You know what I'm saying?
When you can't communicate with them, like they don't know how to understand language, then maybe like, and like we're not talking like abuse, like beating the kid, like it just a swat, like it doesn't have to be very hard, just getting the attention, like cause enough to get the attention of like the child, and they're gonna, I mean, I don't know, I could see that because, and like I know how this is gonna sound, but like we've been having babies for a long time, and back when we were indigenous people, indigenous tribes, like traveling and everything, I'm sure like swatting on the butt or whatever was pretty common. And so I like what I'm saying, I don't think that evolutionarily that would be so negative because it's something that probably has gone on for a long time. Like, but
those societies were also much more matriarchal though. And I feel like the spanking,
I mean, the counter argument is that, we're not savages. Like we can like probably talk to our kids now or something, but like,
yeah,
that's
but like
why that
the
little
savage,
window
because we're starting to come back.
Sense.
We're starting to come back from like ancient wisdom in certain ways. You know, like the modernist approach to things is not working out so well for us.
Like materialism.
Materialism. The mid 18th century, like late 18th century idea that like we mastered nature. That we were in the 18th century, in the 1700s, we were like exploring the world and it was endless and we didn't know what, it was always going to kill us. Right. And then like in the middle of the 1800s, the Industrial Revolution, then it was just like, we're kings of the world. And now
everybody's a king now.
Right.
Like everybody his wealth is increasing and
And so
now we have
I feel like we've
antibiotics. Now we can even cure and vaccinate diseases and like we've like freed ourselves from nature. Like, we don't even think of ourselves as animals.
We don't see ourselves as connected to the planet.
Now we are like becoming the gods of the universe.
And we're fucking it up.
Well, it's a learning curve.
We don't have time. But
it might not matter if we upload into synthetic bodies that.
I mean, I'm not against that necessarily.
But I'm
like
a little
out of principle.
Against that,
But I'm against it. But I'm also interested. I don't own that technology. Yeah. That technology is going to be like the Google Human Cloud or the fucking IBM whatever cloud. And those of us who can pay $30 Google bucks a month are gonna upload our consciousness to the cloud, and then everybody else is just gonna be homeless and die off under a bridge somewhere.
But then, like, what does that mean spiritually? Like,
if you can't live,
is that really gonna be you, or is that gonna be a copy of you? And are you gonna die? And like, that's just a copy that mimics you.
If consciousness or the spiritual realm is like made up of what you believe, like if we get to a point where you can upload your consciousness to the cloud and you truly feel like you're there, then maybe that's enough like magical energy to keep your spirit alive, you know? Maybe that. Maybe, but I mean, you know,
it might just be like some sentience with with your memories thinking it's you.
So your soul dies?
Yeah.
I guess.
So what
It's
I'm
dark.
propose like the Gnostics talk about they talk about
Wait, hold on. Last point. I just wanted to say that like we have gone so far beyond our natural sense of community. I feel like so much mental health problems just come from people being isolated and getting like fake social like you know, like internet hugs, you know, and it's not enough. I feel like people are becoming more isolated
and just being prescribed drugs that null your senses.
Right. Well, we're no longer like, you know, trekking for miles a day, you know, so like we're not getting like certain kinds of the exercise, and like
endorphins aren't releasing it.
Right. And we're not doing things together, you know, like
we're misinterpreting like depression as like a negative thing. It is negative, but like it's a symptom of like not getting out and doing enough things.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
feeling
isolating yourself, and you know, humans are social creatures where you thrive off of social interaction. Even if you think, you know, you're or know you're an introvert, you know, you're still going to like crave interactions with certain people.
For sure, yeah.
So
there's just like in this the end game of Monopoly, we're getting to the point where we have this scarcity mindset, and everyone is kind of just like it's hard to get a feeling of community going because people are just like barely scraping by, you know, and people are in competitive industries, and now they're hyper competitive because they've got all the student debt, and you can't necessarily like have a full-fledged community around you if you guys are constantly competing with each other, you know, or like right now they're hiring a bunch of new servers at the restaurant, and
flooding the floor.
I'm my hours are getting cut, and I can't help but look at these new people as like competitors. We're like competing for hours, you know, and that sucks. Like because they're cool, they're good hires. It's not their fault. Yeah. They're just looking for a job.
Just new management wanting to do things differently.
I don't know what they're doing. They're like playing around with hours or something.
Maybe, you know, I feel like when I worked there was like a lot of times when a lot of people would call off, and there'd be like certain people that work doubles like every day. So maybe the new management was seeing that, and he doesn't want to be paying out so much money to certain people, and he wants to like fix that, and he just hired too many people right off the bat, maybe because he probably doesn't know, you know, how many people are going to be calling off regularly and everything. He's probably just trying to figure it out. Hopefully he'll balance it out better, but you know, you never know with the new management how they're going to be.
Yeah, I think that is part of it, because I haven't worked a double in a while, which is nice, but I only got 3 shifts next week, and I can't do that.
Especially going in the winter.
Yeah.
It's already going to be slower.
For sure.
You're already going to be making less money.
Right. So, what's up?
Sounds like
second job time.
Yeah, I mean, Walgreens is probably hiring.
Oh, great. Maybe I should just pick up some stock and ride high on the, you know, whatever. Right. No, I could not in good conscience buy stock for a fucking Walgreens, because I would be contributing to something I'm morally opposed to, like directly contributing, and not that I even have to, but for
not really. I mean, you'd be making money off of this rich bank that's about to buy it out. You'd be just making money off them.
Yeah, but I would be like increasing the reason. I would like be increasing the price of its stock if it's, you know,
which is bad for them, because they're going to buy it out, which means they have to buy all the stocks from everybody who has them. So the more the stock is, the more they have to pay.
I can't. Don't buy stock. Don't buy the stock.
What?
Don't buy the stock.
That's like the one way that a nobody can become mega rich on accident.
We don't know it's not even done yet. They're just talking about it. Like this administration is letting a lot of mergers happen though. Like, they just approved like for Disney buying Fox. That was insane.
Yeah, is that Trump like kind of allowing these things?
Yeah.
So
because all of this has to be okayed by antitrust judges and stuff like that.
What if like his tax return or whatever comes out and it shows he was like
oh shit
super bankrupt, like in mega debt.
Yeah.
And he just did this to like make a bunch of deals with a bunch of people just to make a bunch of money back.
I would not be surprised in the slightest if they were doing insider trading like that. Which is super
fucked up.
I would not be.
He's like 70 years old.
Yeah, I know.
Dial.
Exactly. And it's never enough.
And not fuck everything up for everybody.
It's never enough.
Jesus Christ.
See, like if you buy, I don't know, like I can't in good conscience buy shit on the. Something like 85% of the American people don't own any stock in the stock market, and so much of the economy hinges on these people treating like retirement savings and mortgages like fucking roulette. Man.
When you sign up for Robinhood, you get one stock for free. So that's a way for people to get a stock for free.
We're not
Robinhood,
we're not fucking
sponsor us.
We're not no way. We're not standing for fucking Robinhood.
This episode brought to you by...
No. Shit, I was on the fucking train. I was on the Purple Line up to Evanston. And there was just like cryptocurrency ads all over the fucking train and a couple homeless people, and I'm like, this is so what? It's like fucking San Francisco. It's like,
it's like
it's gross. The inequality of this fucking shit,
Yeah. I mean, cities can be hard on people.
Yeah. And the rent is too damn high.
And then like, you can get like a steady job, work it for, so many years, and then, the neighborhood you were living in suddenly starts, the rent's rising everywhere, and then it's too expensive for you to live there, and then you gotta try to move somewhere else, and then now you're commuting super far to this job, and you're spending more money on that, and just like a slowly decline into the depths of depravity until you just smell like piss, and you're just masturbating on the red line.
Yeah, right.
2 a.m.
Sure. Or just like in fucking, in Houston, like people, it's just a giant web of freeways, and it's a huge city. So yeah, people are driving hour, 2 hours to go to work, and I wouldn't be surprised if people are pooping themselves. And also, shit like that.
Also, driving is one of the most dangerous activities you can do. So driving 2 hours, commuting 2 hours, that's there and back. So that's 4 hours a day.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you got to get up early, because it takes you a long time to get to work. If you got an early shift, it means you gotta get up early. You're gonna be tired. Being tired could be worse than being drunk.
For sure.
Or just as bad.
Like over 600 people die on Houston freeways every year, which is insane. And I grew up with it being a very normal thing to see a horrific crash on the side of the road as you drove by. And of course, people are rubbernecking all the time. People are so disconnected from the humanity of it,
Rubbernecking?
Yeah. Oh, rubbernecking is like when traffic slows down around an accident because everybody is looking at it. They're rubbernecking. And it's fucked up. I mean, not only, like going back to the isolation, everyone is just like doing their own thing, doing their own hustle. And, hey, that wasn't me. Whatever. So much drinking and driving in Houston too. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, if all the bars are in one part of the city and you gotta get there, and if the main way, like the main transportation is driving.
I mean, even in your own neighborhoods though, like the walking, it's hard to walk. because
So hot.
it's the sidewalks are busted up.
Like
There'll be stretches of road
melt the
that's
soles
just
of your shoes.
they're not paved.
The infrastructure in this country's falling apart.
No, I know. I mean, in Houston, it's all about driving too. So people, and then like the state government is making it harder for like companies like Uber and Lyft, which are have their own problems, but help with the drinking and driving thing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so depraved. But even on the trains out here, people are so isolated from each other. Like everyone is trying really hard to ignore each other on the trains.
Yeah, I mean that's all like buses, same thing.
Yeah.
People won't sit next to people on the bus.
Yeah,
There'll be open
or
chairs.
just like no eye contact, or just like people asking for money on the train or just trying to survive, and it's like the aggressive ignoring is like you can't even, you gotta like people, you can make eye contact and say like, sorry man, I don't have any cash on me, or like I can't, dude, I'm sorry. Like there's like basic human contact shit, that is just like,
it gets really hard though, like because it, especially when you're riding the trains regularly, it's all the time. Like
I mean, I do it too. I'm not always like I ignore people too.
And
but
like when I'm reading a book or something, like on the train, I'm not gonna stop every time somebody like, cause they're, they'll stop right in front of you and like try to get your attention, and like it's like
yeah.
Like you don't owe anybody your attention.
No,
like.
you don't. So, but there isn't like a default sense of community with even people who aren't trying to beg you or solicit you or whatever. Like it's kind of weird to me that here we are, all these like this tribal species sitting on an enclosed space and not talking to each other. And occasionally I get older people talking to me, and I always engage them because they tend to be really friendly, and I get into it. I'm kind of insane and I like to talk about myself if people ask me. Sure, like
I like getting into conversations with strangers.
Yeah, like it's nice, right? But like I feel like that could be the default, and we've gone so far away from that. I feel like people are just like,
it's weird,
isolated from each other.
Like it's weird if you start talking to somebody.
It just feels brave, but I feel like then you like, oh, this feels nice. Oh, huh.
I mean,
I feel like maybe that's the default.
It can be. I mean, I've started up conversations on the train or whatever, like, and it's not that hard. Like, it's not, people who aren't like rude, like they're willing to have conversation or whatever. But for the most part, there's like the default, like, and I've noticed that since like I was a kid riding the buses in Eugene. Like it's always been like that. Like, but maybe part of it is just there's too many people in, like, even Eugene is like 200,000 people or so. Like it's just too many people, and you just get overwhelmed. So like you know the people and for the most part you just like are not interested in like, oh, who is this person I've just seen on the bus I'm never gonna see again.
Yeah.
Like, I want to remember your name for what reason? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we could be a little braver, Also, a symptom of this is just like the civic disengagement in the country. People don't feel connected to how they're governed at all, and half the country doesn't vote. That could.
A way that you could fix that is like, if Neuralink, this thing Elon Musk is talking about, if it really turns out to be like, as cool as he's talking about, maybe you can start augmenting the brain past like our natural evolution to where you can remember billions of people or something, and then imagine how that will affect elections, like people seeing the importance of being able to make good, being able to look at all of the candidates objectively and taking their information and being able to comprehend multiple points at once, like
and feeling like they're voting not just for themselves or their immediate community, but for the least of us, because not everybody not everybody has that sense of solidarity, you know. I feel like even the way politicians talk about class is fucked up, because they always say that they're talking about, they want to, I want to save the middle class. I want to fight for the middle class. I want to do this for the middle class. And I'm like, what about the poor people? Like, what is the implication? What is the implication of only talking about the middle class and prioritizing just the middle class? And is there even a middle class when half of the country makes like $30,000 or less? 78% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. Like, is there a middle class, or are we all the working class, right? I feel like the current system like creates an imaginary middle class to make people disconnected from the quote unquote poor, even though they're still like an emergency away from being homeless, right? Or like, you know, kind of like there's a built-in thing of the elderly being sectioned off from the rest of the society, you know. When back in the, you know, when we were in tribes, everybody, all people were living together, you know, and the elderly would stay with the family for generations, you know.
Yeah. They were like keepers of, you know, knowledge. Like in China, they had a part of their tradition was, you know, they're Confucianists, Confucianism, and which is like very conservative and you know, it's like convention. It deals with like conventional knowledge and stuff, and then that's for, you know, the younger adults, where, you know, where you have a duty to produce offspring and work and, you know, produce stuff for your community and everything. And then once you get older and you pass that, that's when you like usually will change to more of a Taoist mindset, which is where it's kind of like you retire from conventional life and like everyday life, and you don't work anymore, and you just all you do is introverted like thinking, like, and
like
just getting to know yourself and
self-actualize.
Yeah, and it's like more liberal. It's like more liberal of thinking than the conventional, like, and it's just kind of an interesting evolution of thinking for them over there.
Where are we here? Do we ever change from one to the other?
You know, I think we start out more liberal.
Where does the scarcity mindset like play into this?
You get more conservative over time for the most part, maybe.
I think that's changing.
Yeah,
I think that's changing. This is this generation saw us go to war on a lie. This generation,
we've seen a lot of shit.
This generation saw 3,000 people die on TV. Nothing got better. The economy crashed in 2008, and most people really haven't recovered. Like, it's and
schools
like there's
getting shot up every other day.
Yeah, schools are getting shot up, right? It's real hell world shit.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Gnostics believe that we live in hell.
Yeah.
And that God is a satanic being.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just like torturing us?
Yeah. So
to what end?
They believe that we live in hell because everything has to consume to survive. Like, everything has to consume everything else. To survive, and there's like a bunch of reasons. Like,
that's interesting. That's a really old story.
Yeah.
This is what a buddy of mine from New York was telling me when he was in town last. He's like, it's a very old story that people have been told for generations. It's that you are here to suffer in this life, but you will eventually get what's yours. You will eventually go to heaven or get your reward or do this or do that. And it's the American religion as well, which is like, you are temporarily poor. You're gonna be a millionaire one day. Look at all these people on TV, rags to riches, temporarily embarrassed millionaires, right? Well, that's part of the competitive thing that isolates us too.
Well, the Gnostics are a bit different now. They don't think that you go to heaven after you die. They think you get reincarnated back into
Something
hell.
better?
No, back into hell.
Back into hell.
Because the whole purpose is that, like there's like an uncreated spirit. Like there's this whole concept of non-creation. And we live in creation. Our universe is a created universe, and we live in creation. Creation is supposed to be like satanic. So there's an uncreated like spirit that everybody has, which is like, it's not their soul, but it's like their essence or something. And so you have like your body and soul is made by like the God, the creator God, who's like the satanic being. And you're the whole point of living is just to suffer until you break down and you're willing to like give yourself over to like the satanic
nothingness?
being. Yeah.
So
well, no, not nothing.
Oh no, you give yourself to the being.
Yeah.
That's
it's
what
like
a torturous.
It's a torturing, like breaking down, and it's an interesting.
This is horrific.
It's a really interesting religion because like they talk about it, everything is flipped. Like they have stories of the Bible, like Cain and Abel, and Adam and Eve. They believe that that the serpent was Lucifer, and Lucifer is like an angel, like a good guy, and so Lucifer comes down and he banged Eve, and he had her eat the apple.
Does he rape her, or
No.
or do they bang?
They bang. It's consensual, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't around, but the thing is
this is Taoism.
No. This is Gnosis.
Gnosticism.
Like gnosis or
Gnostic.
Gnostic. Gnostic. It's like the Gnostic religion. Or Gnosis is like, I guess, a different way of saying it. But like, so they believe that the eating from the tree of like the knowledge of good and evil was like an act of liberation, like that allowed us to like basically have free will. And so like when God originally made us, they think that he didn't want us to eat from this tree so that we would be docile and we wouldn't question anything that he told us. And so when Lucifer brought that knowledge to, like they didn't even question to eat the tree. He said, "Don't eat from the tree." They didn't even question it. Like, so how can you have free will if you don't even have the ability to like conceptualize a possibility outside of what you're told to do? Like, so eating from the tree, like supposedly allowed us to understand the consequences of good and bad, and like be able to understand what might happen, like if or understand that we can do bad things, like like before then you wouldn't even think about murdering, like, or you wouldn't think about doing anything bad, like, but after that you have that the will to do that if you choose to. And so why that's important in this religion is that creation is satanic. So so like they don't really view the act of killing Abel as a bad thing, because since Cain was the baby of Lucifer and Eve, that's what they believe. They believe that Cain was a more like uncreated like essence, because half his genetics come from like a totally uncreated being or something. It's really weird. But.
So what are the virtues of this? Like, are there any upsides to this?
So there's a way to liberate yourself, and that is to just completely oppose yourself from any named God. So Jehovah, Yahweh, or anything like that. That's a name, and like you can't. It's very Lovecraftian. You can't speak about God because it's uncreated. Like God is, and this is also Kabbalist, like Kabbalah. Like they talk about how God is nothingness, because to be able to like put God in words or something would be to like put him in a box or like conceptualize him, or I'm saying him, but like it wouldn't even be like it's just you can't even conceive what it would be, because your mind is a created mind, and like it can't think of anything that's not real or something.
Oh, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, like we only see so much of the world. We only like perceive so much of the real world, right? So to use our limited understanding to attempt to perceive God is like completely antithetical to the idea of God in Gnosticism's eyes.
Well, yeah, that's also agnostic. Like like being agnostic is to accept that you just don't have the ability to understand like what God would be.
Yeah, I'm kind of agnostic, but I don't.
So it's just saying like that you don't not believe in God, but you don't believe in religions, like, or like you don't believe like what you don't, because they're saying like for sure this is what's going on, and you're like there's no way you can know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and then Gnostic is just it's interesting. It's like the word theist or an atheist.
Right.
It's Gnostic and agnostic. So agnostic means like that you just accept that you can't understand it. But Gnosis.
But they do believe in a certain like perspective of the stories.
I think they're just spiritual. They just believe that that's possible, that God exists. But they don't. They just think it's I guess they would probably think it's just kind of like it's futile to even think about it. Like it doesn't even matter to think about it.
It's a very it's kind of cynical way of looking at the world, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's.
I'm not there. I have faith. I mean, you gotta have some kind of faith because otherwise the hell world will swallow us all up. But there's nothing after this, you know. And then the people after us will just be living and dying in a world of real pain, you know. Like, shit's getting crazy around the world, you know what I'm saying? And the liberal institutions are allowing it to happen. You know, here in America, in Turkey, in Bolivia now, in Lebanon, in Chile, like, shit's going down. Yeah, I think the spirit of solidarity could really go far in fighting the descent into a true hell world. You know what I'm saying?
Depravity.
True barbarism. You know what I'm saying? Like.
I don't know. I mean, you know, what happens if China like achieves general AI before everybody else?
I don't know. I mean, like,
say China could be a benevolent force. I don't know.
I don't know. They're pretty authoritarian and scary, but they, you know, if you just want to look at economics, like, I don't know. It's not good. It's not a good look, because even the largest, it's a very big economy, and it's a communist economy, and plus, all of these people are brainwashed, and the people are, you know, those people are brainwashed, and they don't have a real sense of what the world is like, but they have solidarity. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make for a very strong country. And we could have that here in a place that generally, I mean, on paper, we have a First Amendment, even though people are fed propaganda through the 6 cable companies, the 6 media companies that own news and media and entertainment and radio, and even your local news stations. You know, we're getting fed corporate propaganda.
And now, like with net neutrality being repealed.
Yeah. Well,
even the internet sources that people have can be, you know, eventually bought up or monopolized.
And venture capitalists are buying out. They're buying out newspapers.
What does Bernie say about net neutrality? Does he have?
He is pro net neutrality.
So
Bernie also has a plan for public internet.
We need
public broadband as part of his Green New Deal plan, and putting broadband in rural America.
So like making internet accessible,
making it so that it's accessible to everyone in the country. And when you pay for it, you're paying for it at cost. So you're not. It's a public utility. It's publicly owned. We have a democratic board. Well, I don't know if that's part of his plan necessarily.
You're saying he's pro 5G.
I don't know about that.
That's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I've heard of a little bit about the 5G. How it's giving people cancer or some shit. right? That's what it is. Like our brain, our bodies are not meant to feel the frequencies of 5G, and now you're gonna put it in all of the. Now you're gonna put it in all the fucking wire. When we
say it's safe.
Okay, well that's okay. Who? Which scientists? I'll ask if they're like scientists that were paid. If these were researchers,
they work for Verizon.
Oh, they work. Okay. Okay. When we drove out,
I'm not sure about
we drove out in Wisconsin on vacation, and we saw some billboards about stopping the 5G towers and shit like that. And I was like,
those are probably
interesting.
like privately bought and like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the money angle of being against 5G is. You know, I don't know what the money angle is about being against 5G. I know what the money angle is being pro 5G.
Maybe
you
are 4G.
Yeah.
You don't want to be replaced.
I mean, but though the utility companies own all of that shit anyway,
yeah.
You know, so they're just this is a innovation that they're trying to push into the market that might not be necessary and may be a public health risk.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we want to keep growing and getting better and faster, and like it's always like
it's the growth. It's the growth mentality,
yeah.
But we may be hitting a limit if maybe we shouldn't. I don't know.
We're not. We're able to make smaller microprocessor quantum processor chips or whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah,
we're just like getting past like a great filter.
No, I mean the limit.
Well, we're gonna get fucked.
Right, exactly. Like we might be hitting that. I mean, we already have like the need for growth and expansion is already putting pesticides and chemicals in our food chain that are banned in Europe. You know,
even
like,
weed isn't safe anymore.
Weed's not safe anymore, right? I mean, like we have.
We need to legalize it quicker.
We need to legalize it and regulate it. But
you know what that's doing?
What?
It's making the cartel move more of their businesses into like methamphetamine and cocaine and stuff.
I mean,
drugs.
Legalize all of it.
Fentanyl. Yeah, that's what
legalize
I'm saying.
all of it. I'm not against that.
It's too dangerous.
Yeah,
right
legalize
now
it.
To have it illegal. Like the cartel are overpowering the Mexican government. And the farmers of avocados are being extorted and just it's fucked.
And then I mean going back to what we were talking about last week, 70% of the weapons that they recover from cartels originated in America and were legally bought.
Yeah, the CIA probably gave them a bunch of weapons for a bunch
too.
of coke.
Yeah,
and then sold it to Freeway Across in Los Angeles or whatever. And then they were able to like fund their black ops, which is really like beach party in Ibiza or something.
I'm sure the CIA has hella beach parties, and I'm sure they all get blackout drunk because they I think they know they're monsters.
Plus, I mean, they can just say that this operation's classified.
That's classified.
Yeah. Why did you need 6 pounds of ecstasy pills?
Yeah. Why did you buy 2,400 beach balls?
Right.
It's classified. That's an operation. Okay.
And like a bunch of paint and foam and lacers. And
Coors Light. Like
Skrillex. You got Skrillex?
Yeah. Wow. I ain't even mad. Nah, I'd be pretty mad. Fucking CIA. I mean, they're about to take a lot of vacations in Bolivia. I tell you what.
How come? Because of the Bolivia thing you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, okay. It's November 11th. Within the past couple of days, there has been a right-wing military coup to overthrow the democratically elected leader of Bolivia, Evo Morales. And the CIA is definitely backing it because that they have had a pretty good track record of overthrowing democracies and paving the way to right-wing fascists in South America and Latin and Central America, assassinating people and shit like that. It's a really extended Cold War.
Sounds like a very, Project Paperclip, like SS officer idea.
It's but it's for real, you know. We were
destabilize these new democracies so nobody can be as powerful as
they're not new though. I mean, they're all like,
well, these smaller democracies.
They are, but it's all about resources and resource extraction, you know. Bolivia's got one of the biggest lithium mines in the world.
Right.
It is
going towards electric vehicles,
right?
And, like, all this stuff that'll be like very big until we figure out a better way to make a battery that doesn't use lithium. And then,
well, we're not going to want to do that if we can just extract and pillage another country's resources.
What you want? No.
No, but I mean, like, no, I would like. We shouldn't be pouring money into oil and gas or subsidies for oil and gas, and we shouldn't be pouring money into military and intelligence aid.
We need to be mining Mars.
Yeah, but let's do it as a society, and let's keep the billionaires and the fucking venture capitalists and all these money firms out of it.
What if we just?
Because people are gonna die, man. They were firebombing people's houses and shit out in Bolivia. You know, you got masked military people that are throwing firebombs and demolishing homes and arresting people in the party. And I mean, it's obviously a military coup, but they're not even trying to be legit about it. They're in masks, you know. It's grim.
Yep.
So, solidarity with Bolivia and Morales. Hey, President Morales, if you're out there, we're with you. We're with you in spirit, bro. Yeah.
Golf clap.
Golf clap for you. I hope he makes it to Argentina or wherever he's going to go. But in the meantime, everybody, you know, like, be making a new friend or hanging out with your old friends. Try to break that individualism, you know. Build some community. It's good for you. Makes you happy. And it's revolutionary, you know. Yeah. They don't want us to have a community. They want us to feel divided. They want us to be feeling like we don't have anything in common. And we have more in common, each of us as working people, than we do with the rich, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I was just watching American Psycho last night, and just him being 27 years old and talking about, like, how expensive his haircut is. And
that's a great satire.
Yeah.
American Psycho is a good satire.
Terrible taste in music.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, those guys they're making fun of just, like, hollow, greed-seeking Wall Street guys who don't have real personalities and are...
He is really good at putting on and taking off a face mask, though. Yeah. He does it all in one.
It's
swift motion.
It's doing maintenance on the robot, on the android face, you know. Yeah. You're doing maintenance on your human skin.
Synthetic skin.
Yeah, but fuck all those guys. They're not real, you know. When you have all that money,
he even says that.
I am simply not here.
Yeah, good movie though.
Yeah,
check it out.
Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's I gotta give a fair.
Did he kill him?
I gotta give a fair trigger warning. It's pretty brutal. It's a pretty brutal film, and the book is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we'll leave you with that. Have some solidarity. Good night.
Top of the world, even when I'm in the South Pole, and I'm ruder than you even when I chew with my mouth closed. I know that I'm